Norwich City have had a poor season in the Championship. They look likely to finish in the bottom half after reaching the playoffs last season. They have also recently sacked their manager and given Jack Wilshere interim duties. The Canaries definitely need a bit of a pick-me-up, so that is where we come in, as we are going to take charge of the Canaries and ultimately win them a Champions League trophy. However, boys, this video is going to be slightly different, because today we are going to attempt our first ever realistic rebuild on the channel. But with that comes an instant problem. My opinion on realistic and someone watching this video's opinion on realistic could be different, so this video isn't going to please everybody. But lads, I've thought of a compromise. In this rebuild, obvious unrealistic signings will not happen, so we won't sign the likes of Pedri, Gavi, Foden, Lewis Skelly, Yuan Yuri. Them type of signings just won't happen, and we will only be able to sign players who are lower rated than our current highest rated player. So for example, in FC25, Norwich City's best player is Borja Sainz, who is 75 rated. This means in season 1 as Norwich boss, we are not allowed to sign anyone who is above 75 rated. But on the subject of Norwich City's squad, this is an amazing team to start off with. Sainz is amazing himself, 75 rated and 23-year-old, a player we can build the team around. We've also got Josh Sargent, who's 24-year-old and 74 rated, who's probably one of the best strikers in the Championship. We've also got an amazing central midfielder, Marcelino Nunez, 24-year-old, 73 rated, and Matej Julasek, 20-year-old, 73 rated right winger, another player who looks amazing. Now we do have a really good right midfielder in Jonathan Rowe, who is out on loan at Marseille. However, in real life, Marseille have got an option to make the deal permanent at the end of the season, so we will have to sell Jonathan Rowe when he comes back from his loan. And heading into season number 1, we've picked the formation and starting 11 we want to use. This is how the team is currently looking heading into the new season, and I have to be honest, lads, this is a very strong team at Championship level, full of young players. I genuinely think without any signings, this team has got a very good chance of actually getting into the playoffs in season 1. And the way we want to play with Norwich City in this rebuild is definitely going to be with a pressing tactical preset. I've not used it for a while. We've got a team full of young, energetic, fit players. I think this will get the best out of our squad. Now, Norwich actually start off with £11 million, but I'm not too sure how Norwich's finances are looking in real life. However, the Canaries have currently got Callum Doyle in on loan from Manchester City, and he is a very good player at Championship level, and he's 20-year-old and 71 rated in FC25. I do think this is a signing that Norwich City could genuinely make in real life without knowing how much money they're going to have to spend this summer. He's worth 3.3 million. I think we can get him in for around that price. So the first signing of the Norwich City rebuild will be Callum Doyle on a permanent deal, and we have signed Callum Doyle for 3.3 million plus a 20% salon clause. Hopefully you guys think this is realistic as well. And just to reiterate one more time, lads, it's going to be impossible to keep everyone happy in this rebuild. There are going to be signings that some people find unrealistic, that some other people would find realistic, but there won't be any massively far-fetched signings. That's one thing I can guarantee. Now, after making Callum Doyle a permanent signing, we can clearly see there is still a weakness in our starting 11, and that is in the right back position. And this brings us to our second potential incoming of the rebuild, Ryan Andrews of Watford, 19 years old, 68 rated, with really decent stats and great potential. Has had a good season for Watford, but they are massively out of form, and in the last 20 games in the Championship, Watford are one of the worst sides in the league. He could be a young player who will look to leave in the summer, and I feel like a rebuild in Norwich City would be a good destination for him. And in FC25, he is very affordable. Watford are going to want anywhere from 2.1 to 2.9 million pounds for him, meaning we can bring him in. I do think this signing isn't far-fetched at all. And Ryan Andrews signs for Norwich for 2.2 million pounds, and I think this is a massive signing for us in the right back position. And with those two signings, our transfer window will be completed. Doyle and Andrews will be the only incomings. We've spent 5.5 million. Don't think that's out of the realms of possibility. I think that could look like a pretty realistic window for Norwich. So there'll be no more signings in this transfer window, and our starting 11 is locked in for season number 1. I think we've got a really good team on paper, full of young players with some experienced heads in there as well, and I'm very hopeful this squad can get us into the playoffs at least this season, and maybe even the Premier League. Now, as you know, on this channel we always ask you guys for recommendations on where to send my youth scouts. Well, today we are going with this comment, and we are going to be scouting Senegal. And whilst we are scouting in Senegal, we are going to be looking for goalkeepers. We want to find the next Edouard Mendy for us at Norwich City. I don't think there's much more we can do in season number 1 but simulate forward straight through to the end of the season, and I don't see any reason why we can't be competing for promotion this season. So we've arrived at the end of season number 1, lads, and someone in professional football needs to give me a job, because Norwich City have been promoted to the Premier League. We have won the Championship, losing just 3 out of 46 games and amassing 101 points, beating Leeds United to the title by 2 points. And in just one season, and after making just 2 permanent signings, we have taken Norwich to the Premier League. And this is when this rebuild gets tricky. We've got to try and keep these signings realistic. In the FA Cup, we would reach the 5th round and get knocked out in a thriller 5-3 to Premier League Fulham. So this is the starting 11 we are going to be taking into the Premier League, and we have seen significant growth all across the pitch, especially Ryan Andrews at right back, who's grown by 5 overalls this season. He's turned out to be a very good signing. Now, I think this team is looking pretty decent heading into the Premier League. Our front three is very good. But no, heading into the Premier League, Borja Signs is still our best player at 79 rated, and you know what that means, lads. Heading into our first season in the Premier League in Season 2, we will not be able to sign anyone above 79 rated. And there's 2 positions I'm looking at in this team that have to be improved in Season 2, and that's centre-back and CDM. Kenny McLean is 33-year-old and 71 rated, and Shane Duffy is 72 rated and 33-year-old. They are both going to start decreasing in overalls in season number 2 and could finish the season in the mid-60s in terms of overall. We've got to bring in a CDM and a centre-back, and we've got to make the signings realistic, but because we are in the Premier League, I think that opens a lot of doors for us, and I'm fairly confident we can make 2 really realistic signings. Now, we have managed to find some decent goalkeepers as well from Senegal, 2 of which are out on loan in Boubacar Mane and Mohamed Diaw. We do have 2 players in our academy who look insane, by the way, especially Diaw. 93 to 94 potential. We need to get him 16-year-old and out on loan. He is probably going to be our first choice goalkeeper at some point in this rebuild. So we made 2 signings in the summer, but as the season progressed, players did leave the club. Onel Hernandez left the club to Genoa for 1.1 million. And we did loan out 5 first team players, including 3 youth academy graduates, just to get them some minutes, as they weren't going to get any this season for us. Now, in terms of stats, Josh Sargent just carried on from where he left off in real life. 26 goals and 5 assists, probably the best striker in the championship. But Jurasek and Signs were excellent as well, both scoring over 20 goals, and our front three really did carry us to promotion this season. So we have arrived in season number 2, and the board have actually given us £53 million to spend. This is a really good transfer budget, and we can definitely bring in all of our main targets. Now, this is where the rebuild does get a bit spicy, as we've got to keep the signings realistic. But let's not forget, we are now a Premier League side who can offer big wages, and we are a very attractive proposition to young players all across Europe. And one young player I've got in mind is PSV centre-back Ryan Flamingo. He is 22 years old, 77 rated, and looks like a fantastic player on paper. Now, Flamingo has just had a really good season in real life with PSV, even scoring in the Champions League. However, I feel like he would be tempted to move to the Premier League at 22 years old. He is yet to be capped by Holland. If he can move over to the Premier League and have a really good season with Norwich, it opens up doors for him to get into the Dutch national team. So we are going to bring him to the club, and he's going to cost us anywhere from 19.6 to 24.5 million. He's under 79 rated, so we can sign him. Let's get this man to Carroll Road. And Ryan Flamingo becomes our first signing of the Premier League era for 21 million plus a 15% sell on. This is a huge signing for the Canaries. Now our attention turns to signing a defensive midfielder to replace Kenny McLean, and we have identified Leslie Ogokchuru of Chelsea. He is 75 rated and 21-year-old at 6'3" with great defensive stats. I think he would be an excellent signing for Norwich. Now, since signing for Chelsea, he has only made 12 first team league appearances. He's recently spent a season out on loan with Southampton, who were terrible. I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that another newly promoted club comes in for Ogokchuru. He joins us on a 2-season loan with an optional future fee of £15.8 million. And so far, I do think both of these signings are pretty realistic. And this means we are left with 28 million in the bank to bring a new left back in, some coaches, and renew the relevant contracts. And we have got one final signing lined up for season number 2, and it's a player from the Czech Republic League, El Hadj Malik Diouf, who's actually named after one of my favourite ever Bolton players. He is 20 years old, 75 rated, can play left back and left mid, and he's got very good stats. Now, he has had an excellent season over in the Czech Republic, even scoring 7 times in 24 games, which is absolutely fantastic. And I feel like his excellent season has earned him a move to the Premier League, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him come to the Premier League in real life. We're going to be able to sign him in-game for less than £10 million. Don't be surprised to see someone like Leeds, Burnley, or a playoff winner sign him in real life. And Malik Diouf is in for £10 million, rounding off what I think's been a very solid, very realistic transfer window. Let me know in the comment section down below if you thought these transfers were realistic or not. Now, with Diouf, Ogokchuru and Flamingo added to our team, this will be the Norwich City team to take us into season number 2, and this starting 11 is now officially locked in. On paper, we've got a really decent young team, and I do think we'll have enough to avoid the drop back to the Championship. Now, I'm going to call all our transfer window done in terms of incomings. I'm really happy with the business we've done, but players will still leave the club. Now, this season, we are once again sending our youth scouts off to one of your recommendations, and this season, we are going with this comment. Sorry for making you wait. We are sending our youth scouts off to Afghanistan, where we are going to be looking for central midfielders and defenders. Now, 3 players did leave the club, lads, but we did have to trim the squad down a bit, and 3 players have left the club on permanent deals. As we've already said, we had to sell Jonathan Raw as he's leaving in real life. He's gone to Lazio for 10.7 million. We then got about 1.2 million for 2 academy players before loaning out 3 more of our young players. Hopefully, once again, they'll come back ready for first team football. If not, they will be sold. We are now going to simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 2. I hope I've kept this transfer window as realistic as possible. Hopefully, at the end of the season, we have stayed in the Premier League. So we have arrived at the end of season number 2, lads, and the big question is, have we stayed in the Premier League? Of course we have, lads. We have finished 12th in the league on 41 points. We actually finished 4 points clear of the relegation zone, which you can't see on the screen because of my big head. In the FA Cup, lads, really poor showing. We got beat by Championship side Hull City 2-1 in the 3rd round. Need to be doing better next season. And you know how I said that I already know the problem with our starting 11? Just take one glance at that team. The goalkeeper is just not good enough for the rest of the squad, but we have got a bit of an issue. We have got at least 4 young Senegalese goalkeepers who are all massively high potential, 2 of which are out on loan, and while they are having very successful loans, they are both only 69 rated and will not cut it in the Premier League. We've got another amazing goalkeeper on the bench who's probably the pick of the punch, Yade Tiao, who's got 93 to 94 potential, but is only 59 rated and 15-year-old. So my plan in season 3 in the transfer window is to bring a short-term goalkeeper in who could be anywhere from 79 to like 81 rated, who's going to come in for cheap, because we're only going to get about 20 to 30 million pounds next season, just to be a short-term solution until one of our wonder kid goalkeepers are ready to play in the Premier League. We are also going to have a look on the free agents list to see if we can find anyone who can fill out our bench, as the bench really isn't looking too strong, boys. And because Borja signs is our highest rated player at 83 rated, we will not be able to sign anyone above 83 rated in season 3. So at the end of the season, we are saying goodbye to some stalwarts, Kenny McLean and Shane Duffy, both of which are retiring. Now, in terms of stats, Sargent and Signs were absolutely excellent this season, scoring a combined 48 goals between them. Jurasek did add 11 goals as well, but then we didn't really score many for the rest of the team. Once again, our front 3 have really carried us this season. So we have arrived in season number 3, and it looks like I underestimated the Norwich City board. They have given us £40 million, which is actually a very good transfer budget. We are going to get to work straight away scouring the free agents list to find some squad filling players, and we're going to look for a short-term goalkeeper. Hopefully, come the end of the transfer window, we're looking much stronger. So we have gone out into the transfer market, lads, and we have made 4 new signings, including 3 from the free agents list, and I don't think a single one of these signings are unrealistic at all. I mean, free agents are pretty much fair game, but the first one we brought in was Hugo Guillamon, former Valencia player. He is 26-year-old, 75 rated, can play centre-back, centre-mid and CDM, and has got pretty decent stats as well. He'll be a decent player from the bench. We then brought in former Chelsea defender Malang Sarr after he was released by Lens. He is 76 rated and 27-year-old with decent stats. He'll be a good backup replacement for Shane Duffy. We then signed Mads Rueslev, former Brentford fullback. He's 27-year-old, 75 rated with decent stats. He wanted to stay in the Premier League, so we have brought him across to Norwich. He'll be a good backup player as well. We then dropped down to the Championship to sign a goalkeeper who has got a bit of a theme for getting teams relegated. That's right, we have brought Aaron Ramsdale to Carrow Road. He's 28-year-old, 81 rated with really decent stats. We've signed him for £16.5 million. He literally left Arsenal to sign for a newly promoted club in Southampton, so I don't think this transfer is unrealistic at all. He'll be our number 1 until one of our Senegalese wonder kids are ready to take the reins. He will be a good player for us in the short term. Now, after those signings, we're left with 14 million in the bank. We've got a few players listed for transfer. Once we sell those and we raise a bit more money, I think we're going to activate Leslie Ogokchuru's buyout clause to save us some money in season 4. So lads, we have had a very busy transfer window in terms of outgoings. We had so much deadwood at the club and we've managed to get rid of quite a few of them. As you can see, notable first team players like Agnes Gunn, Jack Stacey, followed by a few younger players, have been sold from the club, raising around £10 million. None of these players would have got any game time with us. We've also been busy in the loan market. 4 players have gone out on loan, including including 3 academy players. Hopefully they'll get valuable first team minutes. As a result of those transfers, we have now got 28 million sitting in our bank account. Now we've got more than enough to sign Leslie Ogokchukwu permanently. And Ogokchukwu is a permanent player at Norwich City for 15.8 million, which is a great deal. And looking at our signings this season, I don't think a single one of them are unrealistic. And with that, our starting 11 is locked in for the new season. Ramsdale is a notable improvement in the goalkeeping department, and Flamingo's already reached 80 rated. Don't see any reason at all why we can't achieve a top half finish this season. And with that being said, lads, I don't think there's much more we can do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3, and I'm hoping we can improve on a 12th place finish this season. So we have arrived at the end of season number 3, lads, and this has to be seen to be believed. We have actually finished 4th in the Premier League on 69 points, securing Champions League football for season 4. And when you actually see the starting 11, you will not be surprised. This is where the rebuild gets really interesting, because we are now a Champions League level side, and that opens the door for us to sign a much higher quality player. But in the FA Cup, we would once again be beaten in the 3rd round by Championship opposition. This time Sheffield Wednesday would beat us 3-1. This is something we have to address in season number 4. But heading into season number 4, our team is looking really strong on paper. We only have 2 players in the starting 11 who are below 80 rated in Juve and Nunez. And Nunez is someone we will probably look to replace in season number 4. A new central midfielder is top of my transfer priorities. However, heading into season number 4, Borja Signs is still our best player at 86 rated. That means we will not be able to sign anyone above 86 rated in season number 4. As we've already discussed, the main position I'm going to look to improve is the central midfield position to replace Nunez. But lads, something has happened. Senegalese wonderkid goalkeeper Mane is back from his loan. He's 74 rated and 18-year-old. Aaron Ramsdale has massively improved our results this season. He's 29-year-old and 82 rated. I think if we throw Mane into the starting 11 now, in 2 seasons' time, he'll be higher rated than Aaron Ramsdale. I could regret this. We are throwing Mane straight into the starting 11 for season number 4, and he's going straight into the deep end, and he's going to be playing Champions League football. Hopefully this works out in the long run. Could reach 80 rated by the end of next season. I'd be absolutely buzzing. Now, in terms of stats, we didn't score as many goals this season, but once again, our front 3 were excellent, getting 18, 17 and 16 goals. And Mank Laforson did have a good season though, getting 9 goals and 6 assists, but then once again, not many goals from the rest of our team. Do need to bring a goal scoring midfielder to the club in season number 4. So we have arrived in season 4, and I have to say, in this rebuild, the Norwich board have really backed us. We've got 93 million pounds to improve our team. Now obviously with this kind of money, and given the fact we are now a Champions League level side, I do think we can bring a higher quality level of player to the club. We are going to try and keep it as realistic as possible, but it is worth bearing in mind that this season Aston Villa qualified for the Champions League, and they've got players like Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford playing for them. When Newcastle United got into the Champions League, they signed players like Alexander Isak, Sven Botman, Sandro Tonali. So please bear that in mind if we sign a player you think is well unrealistic. So we have done a lot of scouting in the off season, and we have found 3 players that I think could be realistic transfer options for Norwich, having just qualified for the Champions League. First is a central midfielder who plays for a team who have just been relegated from the Premier League in FC25 and real life. Mateus Fernandes of Leicester City is 22-year-old and 82 rated. Very forward-thinking central midfielder who would cost us anywhere from 39 to 49 million pounds. This is a Champions League level player who has been relegated to the Championship. He would be requesting a move in real life. I think it makes perfect sense to bring him to Carrow Road, and we don't have to spend too much to bring him here. And Mateus Fernandes is in for 42 million, our most expensive signing of the rebuild to date. Great signing for the club. Now for our second signing of the transfer window, we are once again raiding a Championship side, as we have identified left winger Zeljko Davicile of Sheffield United, player who's far too good to play in Championship and would be a really good rotation option for us heading into the Champions League. 79 rated, 26-year-old, good stats, going to cost us anywhere from 20 to 25 million pounds. This is obviously a realistic signing. And Davicile signs for 22.9 million pounds. He's going to be a really good backup player for us this season. And our final signing of season number 4 is going to be a backup striker once again from the Championship. Tommy Conway of Middlesbrough is 24 years old and 76 rated with decent stats. His contract is expiring at the end of the season, so we can get him for below 10 million pounds. I think he'll be a really decent backup striker for us heading into season number 4. And Tommy Conway has signed for the club for 8.4 million pounds. Pretty good deal for a decent backup striker. And after those 3 signings, we are left with just 13 million pounds in the bank, and we do have some contracts to renew, and I want to bring some new coaches in, so there'll be no further signings in season number 4. That's our transfer window completed. Now after our 3 incomings, we have also let a few players go as well. Cordaber and Springett have been sold for around £3 million, and we've let some of our young academy players go out on loan and players who weren't getting many minutes. But we've kept the bulk of the squad together once again, and we've not really had many bids to come in for our star players, which has been really lucky for us so far. So with that being said, our starting 11 is now locked in for season number 4, and we have got a really good team on paper, to be fair, boys. I do think we should give a good account of ourselves in the Champions League and in the Premier League. I'm just hoping to get into the top 4 again. Our bench is looking much better heading into season number 4 as well. We've actually got plenty of options on there now. So with our starting 11 locked in and transfer window finished, there's nothing left to do but simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. And I'm expecting big things from this Norwich City team in season number 4. So we have arrived at the end of the season, lads, and we have finished 3rd in the Premier League, once again securing Champions League football in season number 6. We finished on 66 points, but Arsenal absolutely ran away with the Premier League this season, finishing on 90 points, 21 points clear of second place Man City. So another really good season for the Canaries, who are now an established Champions League level side. I think we can probably make some really exciting signings in season number 6. But in the FA Cup, lads, once again knocked out in an early round 4 by Chelsea 2-0. In recent rebuilds, we've just been woeful in cup competitions. However, I'm slightly happier with our performance in Champions League. We did actually make the round of 16, where unfortunately we met one of the best teams in the world, AC Milan. They would beat us 4-0 over 2 legs. We're obviously not quite at their level yet. So this is how the starting 11 is looking heading into season number 6. What a team we have got on paper. And I'm buzzing to see Mane has grown by 6 overalls and is now 80 rated. He's also only 19 years old. He has got a massive future and could be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. However, we will need to make a few signings in season number 6 if we want to be more competitive in the Champions League and push Arsenal for the Premier League trophy. I'm going to bring a new left back in, lads. Diouf is a great player. He's 23-year-old and 81 rated, but his growth has really slowed down in recent seasons. Bringing a world-class fullback in will solidify our back line. Diouf will be a great option to bring off the bench. Now, in terms of stats, Josh Sargent had a brilliant season, scoring 32 goals and 8 assists. Sainz and Jurasek did get 39 goals between them. And we said we wanted to sign a goal-scoring midfielder. Well, Mateus Fernandes was outstanding. He got 12 goals and 13 assists. He is definitely what we have been missing in central midfield. So we have arrived in season number 6, lads, and it's safe to say we won't only be signing a left back. We've got £109 million in the bank. This is a massive transfer budget, which we're going to have to use. So we have identified the first player we want to bring to the club, and you may notice it's not actually a left back. I've switched up how I want to do this transfer window, and I'm going to be identifying a centre back as our primary target. And I have identified Levi Colwill, who is currently playing for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. And I just want to explain my reasonings why I think at this stage in the rebuild this is a realistic signing. Wolfsburg finished 11th in the Bundesliga last season, meaning they are not in any kind of European football. We are now an established Champions League level side who are expected to be in the top 4 every season. Levi Colwill being English and Norwich not being too far from London, where he's from, I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility that he would be interested in coming back to the Premier League, competing for Premier League trophies and success in Europe. He's 85 rated, 25-year-old, a natural left footer, as he will be replacing Callum Doyle in the starting 11, and he is an amazing defender. Going to be pricey, 47 to 59 million pounds, but we are going to make this deal happen and bring in Carroll Road. And we have completed the signing of Levi Colwill for 59 million pounds. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you agree with my reasoning for signing Colwill? And it's probably important for me to announce that Ante Cernak's contract is expiring and we're not going to be renewing it. He's leaving the club, but we also have some key first team players out of contract this season. We're going to renew these contracts, and no doubt this is going to use up quite a bit of our transfer budget. And after the signing of Colwill, there's been 2 outgoings, lads. We've sold one of our academy goalkeepers, Umar Kamara, for £6 million. Won't be getting into our team. And Slimane has gone out on loan as it's not part of our first team plans. And I'm going to call our transfer window done there, lads. We've got a really good team on paper, and I do want to keep this squad together. We've got loads of decent players. That's going to be our starting 11 locked in for season number 6. This is a very strong team. We decided to bring a new centre back in, as I don't really think getting rid of Diouf right now is a good idea. He is still only 23 and he's 82 rated. He could have a good season of growth this season. I think we're going to be really strongly this season. I'm just hoping that this rebuild is still realistic, even though we've signed Levi Colwill. Bench, absolutely quality, lads. Really, really good. So many options. I think we're in for a really good season in season number 6. Now, to be honest with you, lads, there's not really much more we can do but simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. I would like to win some silverware if we can, and I'm aiming for at least the Champions League quarterfinals. So we have arrived at the end of season number 6, and we have only gone and won the Premier League trophy, finishing on 79 points, 2 points clear of second placed Arsenal. Norwich City are the champions of England, and come on, lads. Surely now we can pretty much sign whoever we want. I'll tell you something though, lads, in the FA Cup we are just pants. Lost in the 4th round to League One derby, 3-2 at home. What can I even say at this point? Well, what I could say is we've also won the Carabao Cup, lads. We've beat Arsenal once again, 3-1 in the final. We've beat Arsenal now to the Premier League and Carabao Cup, and that's 2 fresh, shiny trophies added to our trophy cabinet. Can we make it a hat-trick? No, we can't, because AC Milan have once again knocked us out of the Champions League in the round of 16, but this time they beat us on penalties 4-2. Gutted, lads. Absolutely gutted. Milan have just had our number for the last 2 seasons. But just look at this team, lads. What an exciting team we have got on paper. You may notice there's yet another new starting goalkeeper. Theo is 80 rated, an 18-year-old. You may remember him from the academy, who had 93 to 94 potential. He is going to be our new first choice goalkeeper for the rest of the rebuild, as his potential is just insane. The actual starting 11 is looking really, really strong, lads. With Borja Sainz being our highest rated player at 89 rated, we can't sign anyone above 89 rated in season number 7, but I'm not really too bothered because we can pretty much sign anyone. Where do I want to improve this team? I've thought about changing up the fullbacks, but do you know what? They're good players. I think we need one more world-class midfielder in that midfield 3, push us to the next level, and he'll be replacing Forson, who'll be a great rotation player. Now, in terms of stats, lads, Josh Sargent was fantastic. 35 goals and 10 assists. He has been great throughout the entire rebuild, and so has Second Signs. Both got over 20 goals, and I'm really glad to see our midfielders finally scoring. Let's see where the win takes us in season number 7. So we have arrived in season number 7, and we have got £134 million to improve our team. The only issue I'm going to face in this transfer window is signing a player who you guys think is realistic. Lads, we've identified the central midfielder that we want to bring to Norwich, the Premier League champions, might I add, in season number 7. And that man is Dalio Usogo of Cagliari. He's 24-year-old, 85 rated, with amazing stats. He can defend as well, which we'll love to see. Why is this signing realistic? Well, Cagliari are in no European competition. He has got the chance to fly over to England, play for the Premier League champions. We've got a goal of winning the Champions League. It's going to boost his chances of playing for Portugal as well. You know this isn't a far-fetched signing. We're going to be paying anywhere from 42.5 to 53.1 million pounds for him because his contract is expiring. So we are going to bring the man to Carrow Road. And we have completed the signing of Dalio Usogo for 46 million pounds. Was this a realistic transfer for the Premier League champions? Let me know in the comment section down below. We've got a bit of an issue, lads, because we still have 85 million in the bank. Should we bring in a new fullback? Well, we have signed a new fullback, but it's not someone who's going to be starting every game. We've brought Harrison Burrows to the club from Osasuna for £25 million. He's 27-year-old, 82 rated, really decent stats. Of course, this is a realistic signing, and he's going to be a fullback option who's going to be on our bench. He'll rotate in and out with youth. Now, we have still got £57 million in the bank, lads, but I'm not actually looking to make any more signings. I'm really happy with the team because this starting 11 is looking absolutely brilliant on paper. I'm really confident Tio's going to grow absolutely loads this season, and we've got players like Fernandez, Sargent and Sainz who could be 90 rated come the end of the season. This starting 11, boys, is now locked in for season number 7. And I tell you another thing that's really impressive about this Norwich City team, that bench is absolutely stacked full of talent. So many options that could influence a game. Even our reserves, if you look, lads, just full of players we could use. And truth be told, lads, I'm not really looking to sell anyone at all in this transfer window. We are kicking season 7 off with a trophy. We've beat Crystal Palace in the Community Shield on penalties, 3-0. They missed 3 penalties there. Has our wonder kid goalkeeper saved them all? I'm going to say yeah. Now, to be honest with you, boys, there's not a lot more we can do this season other than simulate forward straight through to the end. What do I want to see this season? Well, I want to see more progression in the Champions League, and I want to see an actual cup run in the FA Cup. So we have arrived at the end of the season, lads, and unfortunately we could not retain our Premier League crown. Finished on 76 points, 4 points behind the champions Man City. Gutted to not win the league again, but that's still a very solid season for such a good Norwich team. And lads, we would get to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, but unfortunately lose to Chelsea 2-1. I think we're just cursed in this competition, to be honest. But a great way to lift a cup competition curse is by actually getting to the Champions League final, where we take on an old enemy, PSG. We were one of the best teams in the league phase as we finished third on 19 points. Interestingly, PSG actually come top of the group, so it's going to be a really, really difficult game. In the round of 16, we had one of the craziest Champions League games ever, beating Real Madrid 7-5 over 2 legs. We would then go on to batter Bayer Leverkusen 6-1 over 2 legs, winning both ties by clear goals. We would then reach the semi-finals, and after battering Barcelona at the Carroll Road 4-0, a draw was all we needed in the second leg. 5-1 aggregate win. We are taking on PSG for the chance to win the Champions League. And we are taking an absolutely amazing team into the Champions League final, but unfortunately, Esogo will be suspended, as he is currently suspended, obviously. Not really too fussed though, because that means a player who's been with us since day one, a Mankwa Forsen, will be starting. And the beauty of having such a good squad is we'll just get an 80 rated player to come onto the bench and take his place. This starting 11's excellent, lads. 4 90 rated players. Our goalkeeper's grown to 86 rated. I'm really confident we can get the job done against PSG. Now, in terms of stats this season, Sargent was unbelievable, scoring 42 goals, getting 9 assists, and also winning the Ballon d'Or. Fair play to Josh Sargent. Jurasek was amazing once again. Fernandez and Sainz, absolutely fantastic. Sainz, whatever his name is. Players just really, really performed this season. We scored so many goals. Hopefully we can put on a goal fest in the Champions League final. So here we go, boys. Champions League final time, live from Old Trafford. Quick scan of the PSG team will show you how strong this team actually is. Hardly anyone below 85 rated. This is going to be a really difficult game. We've got evenly matched teams. I've got Churu, great ball out wide to Juve. First attack of the game. Can we make something happen? No, we're going to pass it straight to Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're pressing really, really high from Mbappe then, I think. Is that even Mbappe? I'm not too sure. I've got Churu. Look at this press from PSG. If we can break this press, we might be on for a bit of a chance here. Fernandez, good ball to Sargent. The Ballon d'Or winner. Nope. What a tackle. What a tackle by Gabia. That's a goal-saving tackle. Honestly, I do not think Josh Sargent would have missed. Signs, a great ball. Fernandez in a pocket of space. Need to get his pass right. To Sargent, 1-0 to Norwich in the 37th minute. Brilliant passing move and a great finish by Sargent. Great ball in by Fernandez. Sargent's in front of his man and he puts it into the side netting. No chance for Donnarumma. First major chance of the game, and it is 1-0 to the Canaries. And that's going to be half time, lads. 1-0 to the good. PSG have had all the ball. Been no real chances in this game, but the one chance has fell to the right man, Josh Sargent, and it's 1-0 to Norwich. So we're 45 minutes away from Champions League glory with Norwich. Oh, it's a penalty. What? How was that not... Oh, what have we done here? Get it, team keeper. Good save. What? How was that not a penalty, by the way? I was just waiting for the ref to blow his whistle. Forsen, use that pace, lad. Use that pace. That's a red card, ref. Come on. That's got to be a red card. Not even a card. Not even a card. Lads, I'm still a bit miffed how we didn't give a penalty away then.
A few moments later.
Oh, that's a foul. Fair enough. Not going to get sent off for that, is he? That's never a red card, ref. Come on. Oh my god, a Mankwa Forsen sent off. That is never a red card in a million years. Game's gone, lads. Game's gone if that's a red card. Honestly, now we've got to play the last, what, 20 minutes with 10 men. 88 minutes on the clock. Let's not concede. Look at this passing though from Real... I think called him Real Madrid. What a tackle. Is that a match-winning tackle? Sargent, take it to the corner. Play him in. Let's get a winner. Signs. Fernandez, get in there. It's 2-0 to 10-man Norwich. And that's justice, because Forsen's tackle was never a red card. Never a red card. And as soon as this whistle blows, lads, it's going to blow full time. Norwich City are the champions of Europe. Not a game of not many chances. There never are many chances in the Champions League final. We dug deep with 10 men and found the extra goal in added time. What a way to win the Champions League. Now all that's left to do, lads, is lift the Champions League trophy, and Norwich City are the champions champions of Europe, and that's our first ever realistic rebuild boxed off. So I just want to say a massive thank you for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It does really help me out. We're now on the road to 10,000 subscribers, which is crazy. And I will see you next week when we create our own league in FC25.